A robot with no chill, a TV obsession, and a high body count? That's either me on a Sunday binge or Apple TV's Murderbot. But let's find out together before I get deleted. Based on Martha Wells's The Murderbot Diaries, the story follows a private security construct, part human, part machine, all anxiety, who hacks his own governor module to escape corporate control. It calls itself Murderbot because branding is important when you're trying to avoid emotion. Now technically free, but pretending to be a mindless drone, Murderbot gets assigned to a group of altruistic researchers from the Preservation Ox, who quickly discover there's a lot more going on. On the planet, they're exploring and inside the mind of their deadly babysitter. There are alien relics, hostile corporations, emotional growth, and a soap opera called The Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon. That's basically Murderbot's comfort blanket. I knew nothing about this going into it. I just saw a show that's coming out on Apple Plus called Murderbot, starring Alexander Skarsgård, which is kind of different for Apple, whose sci-fi shows are actually pretty serious. And I'm glad I did. This is a 10-episode roller coaster ride of hacked AI, awkward humanity, corporate espionage, and centipede mating rituals. I'm being serious about that. Now, I think the cast is fantastic in this. Skarsgård as Murderbot gives a masterclass in robotic detachment and inner turmoil. He could explode someone's head in one scene and quietly whisper, "I need to finish the next episode," in the next scene. David Desmalchian is Garathian, your favorite passive-aggressive, augmented human, who seems to know too much and trust too little. And who I think is the real heart of the story is Noma Dumezweni as Mensa, who is basically the moral center of the story and also the captain of the crew. A leader who leads with kindness and not just authority. Other members of the crew include Sabrina Wu as Rothy, the emotional glue of the crew, often trying to hug Murderbot, which is basically like trying to hug a chainsaw. Akshay Khanna as Arata, the scientist, emotionally sensitive, and Murderbot whisperer. And Tamara Panaminsky as Brodawaj, field medic, rational, and Murderbot's low-key conscience. This is like definitely genre gumbo. It mixes so much together. Yeah, sci-fi, action, espionage, existentialism, wrapped up in like 20-minute episodes. And even like the finale, it doesn't really match the other episodes. It's much more emotional and less comedic and action-packed. And this show is like addicting. I watched it week by week, and it always leaves you on a cliffhanger. And it's always building anticipation for the next episode, which brings me a little bit to the negative. And I want to sound like a freaking hypocrite because I'm always hating how people just dump all their episodes at once. They release the first 2 episodes, I believe, and then 1 episode every week. The bad thing about that is most of these episodes are like 20 minutes, and that's with credits. So you're talking like 17-minute episodes a week. And it became kind of frustrating. I don't want all these episodes at once. I think doling them out like 2 episodes maybe a week. And that's because the book I've heard is like very short, and they even like expanded on some of these episodes from the book, and it's still very short episodes. So now I'm kind of jealous that everyone who hasn't watched it gets to watch it now and just kind of binge all the way through. And there's some like plot contrivances in the final episode that made it kind of get wrapped up too neatly, and I will talk about the ending in the spoiler section. And one other thing I found a little frustrating is that they tease this massacre at the very first scene of the first episode, but it's never really resolved or expanded upon in any way in this season. But this did get greenlit for a season 2, so I'm looking forward to it. There are some kind of funny little Easter eggs here and there, like Sanctuary Moon, the show that Murderbot is obsessed with. It's kind of a stand-in for our own media obsession. You know, I run this channel. I watch media all the time. I get it. And I think it might be a little bit of a Battlestar parody. If I'm wrong about that, let me know down in the comments. The Murderbot's human face reveal is kind of like a nod to Blade Runner's more human than human concept. Now I want to talk about the ending a little bit. Just go to the timestamp below to just go to my final thoughts and rating, and yeah, let's talk about that ending. After sacrificing itself to save Mensa, Murderbot's memory is wiped and it's enslaved by the corporation. But our Pressox group, led by Garathian cyber hacking, resurrects our favorite emotionally unavailable robot by finding its personality data embedded inside Sanctuary Moon episodes. Now that's peak introvert energy. Then, just as Murderbot is invited to live freely with the crew, it nopes out like someone offered a group project. It leaves without warning, heading toward the Ravihiral system to investigate memories of a massacre it may or may not have committed. Well, why? Because freedom given even by kind humans is still freedom given. Murderbot just wants to find out what it wants on its own. But overall, I would give Murderbot a 4 out of 5. This is a great ride of a show, and it just melds all those different genres together without feeling disjointed. The cast is great, and I'm looking forward to season 2 since it just got greenlit. Hell, I might start reading the books now. And the show made me care about a robot who'd rather watch soap operas rather than talk about his feelings. Same, Murderbot, same.
What the hell? You could have killed me!
There was a chance, yes. But everything turned out fine.
But did you watch Murderbot? What did you think of it? Did you read the book? Should I check them out? Let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button to appease the algorithm gods, and maybe subscribe if you like these sort of reviews. I also have more reviews in the playlist down below. And I'll see you later. Bye.